Hi, everyone. This is Raquel.
Hi, and this is Jennifer.
Welcome to Madness Cafe.
This is a feminist podcast where we talk about women's issues, politics, and health and wellness.
And where those issues intersect. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Madness Cafe. Today, Jennifer and I are joined by the so lovely Megan Jo Wilson. We are so excited to have Megan Jo on. As I was saying earlier, we've also had Libby Bunton and Monica Rogers on, and Libby and Monica have both worked so closely with Megan Jo that I feel like now this is the trifecta. So we're very excited. Megan Jo is the author, among other things, she's the author of No More Playing Small, Free Your Inner Rock Star and Go All In on Your Full-Time Coaching Career. Megan Jo is the founder and creative director of Rockstar Camp for Women, a feminist leadership development program that puts women in the spotlight, quite literally, with a live band and live audience in Portland, Maine. She continues to circle up with students of miracle-minded coaching using her No More Playing Small framework and Rockstar method. In this sacred sisterhood, Megan Jo challenges her students to put themselves out there as experts with a clear message so that they can turn their passion for coaching into a full-time career. And I must say, I believe that Megan Jo is also inspiring women who are not coaches. So Megan Jo, thank you so much for being on Madness Cafe.
It is such a pleasure. It's such a pleasure to be with you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you get to where you are? How did you become passionate about what you're currently doing?
Okay, let's take the ride. What I'm currently doing mostly is this adventure called Rockstar Camp for Women, which you just heard a little bit about. And it's true. I actually put women on stage with a live band behind them and a live audience in front of them. And each of them sings a song in the spotlight with a microphone. I have not ever had a trained musician or trained singer join Rockstar Camp. So that is not a prerequisite. It is truly about giving a woman the somatic experience of being in her body, being so radically seen and heard, and in her pleasure and in her imperfections, and having a hell of a good time doing it. So like, how did you come up with this? I will say, I've been a singer and performer since I could talk. It's been a big part of my professional life. And I got into coaching about 20 years ago. At the time, I was a musician and a farmer and was studying martial arts in the woods. Like I didn't know what coaching was. My brother came back from a training and said, you have to do this training. It's what you've done your whole life. You can actually make a career like listening to people and empowering people. So I started that training at an amazing school called the Co-Active Training Institute, CTI. It's the oldest, largest global in-person and now online, thank you, COVID, coaching organization in the world. And was hugely formative for me. I can tell you more about that. I now teach there. I do coach training there. And then I got really interested in leadership development. Like, what does it mean to be a leader? Like, what is a leader?
Ooh.
What am I a leader? Should I be a leader? I think I'm a leader. I'm called to be, but what am I leading? What is like, what is this?
And what does it mean for a woman to be a leader?
That's it. And learned so much about myself and my impact. And a lot of what I was learning was like, oh, I've always gotten it. I already know this leadership skill through live performance as a musician. There's a lot of overlap.
Interesting.
Right. And I was like, there's got to be some interesting way that these could be woven together. But I never got the format of it until one night. This was after I had written my first book, Who the Fuck Am I to Be a Coach? So I was, this was like 7 years ago. No, that's not true. 5 years ago. In any case, I got off stage after a big Christmas show that we had done and I had sung in. And a woman came up to me, and this is not uncommon, right? She said, "You are amazing up there. Like that is so incredible that you can just stand there and you look so relaxed in the spotlight, like commanding this room of thousands of people. Like I would give anything. I would give anything to be able to do that." And something about the way she said it, and I've never seen her since, don't remember her. I just saw like I could give that to you, actually. You would give anything? Okay, just give me a couple $1,000 and I can make that happen for you. And I knew exactly who I'd hire, where I would do it, what the curriculum would be, who would be in the band, what the exercises would be, who would do their hair and makeup. And I went home and it was just one of those like,
Wow.
moments.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
I wrote it all down. And then the next day went to my dear friend, Angela Loria, who's like a business savant genius who was helping me write my books. And I said, "Listen, this is either insane or genius. What if I put women on stage and like gave them this experience?" And she was like, "It's so good. We got to do this. It's going to happen. I'm going to help." She was like, "This is a brilliant idea." And I said, "Well, let's find out. Let's find out." And in about 2 weeks, I had 10 women signed up.
Wow.
Women I knew, and I said, "Let's just pilot this. Let's just see what happens." On day 2 of our gathering in Maine, we were out getting pizza. They hadn't even been on stage yet. And they all turned to me and said, "You have no idea what you've created here. We are different people and we haven't even gotten on stage yet."
Wow.
So that's the short version of how Rockstar Camp came to be, and lots in between, obviously, all of that.
Oh yeah, so many questions.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No,
Oh yeah.
Number one, you said women getting on stage and embodying their joy and fun or something like the pleasure, I think you said. And the first thing that I thought was, hell no, I'm scared to hell to get on stage.
Right.
How do they go from that to like, do people really enjoy? Can't imagine enjoy. Can't imagine that bringing like pleasure to me, only terrifying fear.
Right. Right. How I do it is a big secret that I can't tell. No.
Yeah.
You have to sign up for Rockstar
But
Camp.
do the women actually feel pleasure in the performing? Do they get to the point of pleasure?
Yeah. Here's the
Wow.
real truth. And this goes back to leadership. Leadership is terrifying in many ways. Y'all
Yeah.
know this. You run a podcast, you're out there. Like there are lots of it is fun and easy. And if it's aligned, there's a lot of aliveness. And there are always moments that are like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like,
Yeah.
we're doing it. Like I'm finally getting this thing that I wanted and now we have to do it. What are we doing?
Right.
Most people who say yes to it say exactly what you just said. That sounds terrifying. Sign
Yeah.
me up immediately.
Not me. That sounds terrifying.
Yeah. It's either that's when you know you're onto something. It's either like, fuck no, you couldn't pay me enough to do it.
Mhm.
Or I have to do this. It scares me so much that I know there's some gold in it for me. I
Yeah.
know there's something, if I'm resisting so much
Yeah.
that idea, then there must be something in there. And it almost always is related to visibility, voice, and doing something imperfectly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you are not a trained musician, Jennifer, which I assume you're not,
I am not.
right?
People have heard me sing. They've never accused me of that.
She's a lovely singer.
She's a
love it when
lovely singer.
Jennifer
Now, in
sings.
America
Yes.
and a lot of Western cultures, we say, I'm not a musician, I'm not a singer. In other cultures, that is not even, it'd be like, what do you mean you're not a musician? Like they don't even, like everyone makes music, but there's no, music is just a part of what we do.
Mhm.
But in America, you can't do it unless you're really good at it and you can make a profit doing it. That's when you're allowed to be a musician.
Yeah, bingo.
Right?
Yep.
So it's like, do you like to sing, Jennifer? Like when no one's listening?
Oh, I almost everything someone says, a song comes. Ask Raquel. I just start singing on the podcast all the time, and then I go, oh, I didn't mean to do that.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
I
but
didn't.
I love it. I love it because she's happy. It makes me happy. And then she's like, "Oh no, that was awful." I'm like, no, it was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Okay, so
They're
this is
in there. They just don't come out very well.
okay, but this is exactly the point of it, right?
Mhm.
You love to sing. The impact of you singing delights your dear friend, colleague, and co-host, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That's the
absolutely.
impact, but you feel shame to do it because you don't do it well
I
enough,
do. I feel shame to do it. I do.
even though it
Oh,
brings you joy.
yeah, that's so big.
Yeah.
So big.
But see, I'm gonna jump ahead a lot, but of course we can like come back and connect everything in the middle. But when I think about this, like when I was reading this, and when I've seen you on Instagram, and you talk about Rockstar Camp, and you talk about these women getting on stage and doing the thing, and yeah, there's part of me that's completely terrified, and I go, oh my god, how did these women do this? But then there's part of me that's like, I secretly want to do that, right? But then there's that part of me that comes around, and I'm like, of course these women are able to do this because they're doing it in sacred sisterhood, which
Correct.
is what you talk about in the book and in your work. And so yeah, so there's a safe space for it. They're being held, they're being seen, they're being celebrated. So it makes it easier for them to tap into that part of themselves, that inner rock star.
Yeah.
Right? Like I just threw in a lot of stuff, but I want us to get to all of it. But that's what comes to mind for me when I see these women get up on stage in Rockstar Camp.
Yeah. That's the real secret. The thing that I'm always selling is like, come learn business tactics. Come learn singing on stage. What I'm actually giving them is sisterhood and sacred sisterhood. So what the fuck is that? Well, women, particularly white women, I would argue, very effectively argue, do not know how to be in real community with one another. And all women, especially in Western cultures, are trained to be competing, comparing. Now we do it with a smile, especially white women. We love to do like, I'm so nice and I fucking hate that you're better than me.
And especially here in the South.
Yeah.
Right.
We're very good at that.
In the South, right. So there's
Yeah.
all these. So real sisterhood, the kinds that I create, are to unlearn all of that so that you have a space to go to be witnessed and honored and cherished in every single drop of who you are. Your magnificence, your total mess, your frustration, your envy, your rage, your grief, your bliss, your longings, your desires, your horniness, your despair, your lust, your every drop. You have a space to go, and the only response your sisters are going to say is, I see you. I see you. I am with you. That's gorgeous. Bring more of it. Now, how many spaces do women have where they can bring the fullness of who we are, and the world says, bring me more?
So few.
I'm too big. I'm too messy. I'm too loud. I'm too
much.
too much.
Mm-hmm.
No, we love our too muchness. Women love our too muchness. And it takes literally, y'all, like, depending on the circumstances, I would say 10 seconds to 60 seconds to create that kind of safety. Then things get really interesting. And then I have fun. People start to get triggered and things. It's really fun. But we do this naturally once we have permission to do it. It's just our culture has no framework for it. Because if we did, we wouldn't
be a patriarchy.
Correct.
Yep.
We are unstoppable.
I agree with
so
that.
Unstoppable.
Yeah.
We might even go on stage and sing a song just for the fuck of it. just because it's fun and just because I can. And know, as you said so beautifully, that when I get off stage, I'm going to be held, cherished. If I have a breakdown afterwards, perfect. If people boo you off stage, fine.
Yeah, fuck them.
We got you. We got you.
Does that happen? Do people get booed
No.
off stage?
No, you know what actually happened?
Another more fear just crept in.
Right. But that's it. That's the biggest fear.
Yeah.
Our fear of humiliation. Our fear of humiliation stops us so often from doing the things we're called to do, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Here's what actually happens. And this happened at the first one ever. I couldn't believe it because I thought they might be booed out. I'm like, these bitches can't sing.
Keeping it real.
Right, exactly. Awesome.
I'm like, some of them can sing, but I mean, truly, I've had women that have no sense of rhythm. I mean, I have a lot of tricks to make sure it all works, including a phenomenal band, which is all men, by the way, by design. So men hold the container, the masculine container behind them is holding them.
Lovely. Yeah, lovely.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
At the first show and at the concert, it's sort of like a workshop and concert. So I have a wireless mic and I go into the audience and I talk to people and I have them share their favorite parts and what it's bringing up for them. And it's like really it's interactive with the audience too. So my friend Craig is sitting at a table and there were like 30 people. It wasn't big because no one knew what it was. And he's sobbing. He's sobbing. And I'm like, I take the mic. I'm like, Craig, what's going on, bud? And he's like, it's just so beautiful to see these women having so much fun and feeling so good about themselves.
Yeah.
And not caring how well they're doing. Like, it was moving him to tears because then if you're witnessing that, you're going, oh, where am I doing that in my life?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where am I holding back on having fun or not doing something just because I can't do it perfectly?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's the actual response. People go absolutely bonkers. People fly in from out of state to see it.
It's
Just
so
to
cool.
see it.
That's awesome. In the beginning of the book, you talk about the trance of unworthiness. And we've had a couple.
Monica. That's a Monica term.
Yeah. And so I would imagine that there's a lot of that when the women come in, right? So there's a lot of unlearning that has to happen. Well, I guess first you have to realize that you're in it. You're in that trance first, right? And then you have to unlearn that.
Right.
So can you talk about that a little bit and how I believe you call it the threshold of visibility?
Yeah.
Like how those kind of lead into each other.
Yeah. Well, the trance of unworthiness, thank you, Monica, for that beautiful, just poetic. Doesn't it just capture the trance?
Mm-hmm. The first time I heard it, it literally hit me like right in the heart.
Right? You're like, it's a trance. And any good coaching model acknowledges that the trance is so real and so hypnotic that you can't even see it yourself.
Mm-hmm. So
you need someone outside of you with like smelling salts going, wake up. That's not really you. That's a perspective you're in. That's a trance that you're in. Because when we're actually in it, and we are over and over and over and over and over, especially in a patriarchy, it is designed to keep you in the trance. There is no breaking the spell for good. There's only have tools that keep waking you up out of it.
Yeah.
So you need tools, sisterhood, coaches to remind, like, whoop, you're in the trance again.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the trance again. You're in the trance again. Because you don't think like, oh, I'm in such a trance. You're just like, oh my God, I can't stay. I just humiliate myself and I don't know what to do. And the world's on fire and I'm an asshole and I'm too fat and I'm ugly. And it feels like the truth.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a trance. It's just the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there. I was there this week. I was there this morning. I mean, it is so relentless.
Yeah.
that unless you have practices and tools and, you know, a sisterhood, a space, or people, church, trees, whatever it is for you that wakes you up like, oh yeah, I am
I think
worthy.
I think it's really important that you bring that up, because it's not a one and done.
No.
You know, we've talked about this about other things on the show before of, you know, it's a continual practice. You have to keep at it.
Yeah.
Or else it just closes back in on you.
100%.
And to hear that somebody who's so well versed in this, who's teaching other people about this, that you yourself have to continue your practice, that's very affirming.
It's the truth. You know, we started before we hit record talking about why is this called Madness Cafe? Well, let's circle up in a cafe and talk about madness.
Mm-hmm.
The world is insane. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that. But it's so powerful. That trance is so powerful that when we're really hypnotized, we're just like, oh, this is normal. This is fine. That's fine. I'm good. No, we're not good. No, we're not good.
No.
Actually, that's the biggest thing I hear from women. Something happens, I'll ask, how are you? No, really, how are you? I'm fine.
Yep.
I'm fine. I've even said it. I'm like trying to take I'm fine out of my vocabulary, because it doesn't seem like it's ever really true. It's fine mean anyway.
Yeah.
I use I'm fine for people I don't want to talk more with. Like, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's also the hardest question to ask. How are you? How am I? I'm like, that is I don't know. I usually say, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or like,
well, how often do we ask ourselves that?
Right. How am I?
Yeah. My daughters hate that question. They think it's
such a hard question.
They're like, what the hell, Mom? Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. How would I even find the words?
That's what they say. They're like, I don't know.
You know, I don't know.
Your daughters.
And the truth is, we're so many things all at once. That's the beauty. Like, and the feminine can hold all of it. I'm amazing. I'm terrible. I'm hopeful. I'm in despair. I'm tired. I'm motivated. And you?
All of
Exactly.
that.
All of that. I'm all of those things at once. So I usually say I'm fine if I don't feel like talking. I don't know if I want to confuse someone. Another one I like is I'm still here. How are you? I'm still here.
I'm still standing.
I'm still. See, there she goes.
I do. The songs come to me, but I can never remember how to actually sing them.
It's so good though.
I'll have the words, but then I can't quite get the melody.
We actually
it's the music in your soul, Jennifer. It's the music in your soul.
The music of your soul.
Yeah.
Girl. And look at her sweatshirt. We got to get her on stage. Look at the sweatshirt.
She's ready.
I want to talk about this.
Yes.
Because you on your website so genuinely, what am I trying to say? Genuinely.
I like genuinely.
You gave this away. I downloaded this.
Yeah.
And then I read it and I thought, okay, I just kind of casually decided, okay, I'm going to read it. I love this. I'm not a coach.
Sticky tabs. I love it.
I'm not a coach. I don't think I'm ever going to be a coach. It's not really in my calling, but I got so much from this. I have to tell you, I felt so much inspiration, but also like it kind of helped me to question some of the things I think about myself. Like, is this real? Where did this come from? Like, why do I even think this? It really helped me. So I want everyone out there to go on, download this, sign up for Rockstar Camp. I mean, do it all, because I have some stuff I want to read from it, but why? Why do you offer this for free? People should be paying you big bucks for this. Why do you do
big bucks?
Probably because of that reaction right there.
It's
sorry, I just jumped in.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few reasons, practical and energetic. Most of them are really practical. So one is I love to have a lot of access points to what I have to offer from $0 to $50,000, right? Like not everyone's going to be able to afford working with me one-on-one or doing Rockstar Camp. So like take the book. Maybe that will give you something.
Maybe it will give you a lot.
It'll give you a lot. So there is a spirit of generosity. And also, strategically speaking, that book is a lead magnet for my business. So it is something I offer so that people can get to know me, what I believe in, right? So we haven't met yet, but you got to know me through that book. I wrote that book for you. I wrote that book for the women who stumble into it in one way or another. And then they are either following me or getting emails from me, or they do sign up for Rockstar Camp or hire me as their coach. And then I get revenue from that. So it's a way of building relationship. Also, you can buy it on Amazon for $8. So I get some, kickback money from that. But the publishing industry is fucked up because capitalism.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah,
very much so.
Like every other industry is fucked up because capitalism. So it's a way of, sharing what I have and building relationship with people that I might meet and I might never meet, or who knows,
I have already forwarded it to about 5 different women I know and said, some of them are coaches, some of them are trying to start their own workshops, online businesses. I'm like, you got to read this. This is going to put this in perspective for you, like how to really do it. Because one of the things that I think they were missing on a whole, and I think you pointed out really well in the book, is the visibility thing you were talking about. Number one, how are we making ourselves visible? But the other thing, as women as a whole, I'm not sure we want to get on stage and have our voice be heard. And I think, the stage presence and the how do you market your own business? How do you become a marketer for yourself? It's the same language in a way.
It is absolutely the same language. And part of why I started working for women, with women, for women, when I wrote my first book, I was teaching workshops for men and women. I was teaching marketing strategy for coaches, men and women coaches. And the difference in how the men and women showed up was so starkly different. And it wasn't just a one-time thing. This was like for a year and a half, and I had been coaching men. I would give the marketing tactics to all of them.
Yes.
The men would come back. I'd say, like, let's define your ideal client and then like write a post for them. They'd come back and say, like, okay, MJ, done. What next? The women would go, I don't know, like, who my ideal client is, and like, should I really post it out there? But like, I should probably get another certification, right? Because I haven't really worked, like, I'm talking about health, so I should probably be an MD before I can say anything about health. So I think I'm going to go to medical school. And the men were like, I'm not trained in anything, but I'm going to create a course and charge a lot of money for it, right? That's what I do. And I'm like, yeah, that's it.
100%.
Yeah.
It was like shocking. And the women would, for months and months, they would spin. And then I started getting really curious about it and playing with it. And what it really, in my experience, my theory really was, it's a double whammy of cultural conditioning that I just am not an expert. Women are not experts. I don't like, it's just not the feedback we get through our whole lives, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, your wisdom matters. Yes, your intuition matters. Yes, now we know we actually are the experts.
Yeah.
Because of our intuition, because of our bodies knowing, because of our wisdom, because of our listening and relating. But the world is like, no, you need a certification and you need to have all the data and all the facts. and then be the best in class. And then maybe you can be an expert. So I'm certainly not an expert. And now I have to go out in public and say that I am.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So people will look at me and hear me. So instead of doing that, I'll just go in a circle over and over of, I don't know who my ideal client is. I think I need another certification. I know I'll work on my website for 6 months, or, I'll do anything except just like hit record and say, I have something to say. And I know it because my heart knows it. My body knows it. And that's all I need to know.
Or you don't do anything with it at all.
Or you don't do anything. We're going to church, Raquel. Have you had that experience? Because I have.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because and actually, even more spot on. Because I do actually have my coaching certification and have had a couple of paying clients, but then I was like, no, okay, I'm just not going to do anything more with it because COVID hit, and I felt really bad about, as I felt asking people for money
Right
during COVID.
That's
and so I literally have not done anything specifically around coaching since the beginning of COVID. So I just threw my energy into the book club and the podcast instead.
Which is beautiful.
But I hardly ever talk about the coaching. Like,
right.
This might be only the first or second time that I've even mentioned it on the pod.
Right.
As I'm getting that look from Jennifer right now.
Right. Now, isn't this interesting? Because you can hear and feel the grief, shame, maybe regret that's in there. And, and you made a conscious choice. I'm going to pour my energy into these things. But to do that and to ask for money, and it's like you want to find the alignment that's true for you. So I don't mean to like put things on you, because maybe it really feels like out of integrity to offer coaching right now. But I'm also hearing there's a part of you that knows this could really help some people. I have a lot of training in this thing. And so that also ties into money, which again, women are not, it's not reflected back to us. You get to make as much money as you want. You get to be wealthy. You get to be powerful. Of course you do. Let's talk about money. Let's teach you about money. The men in my course, they say, how much should I charge? I'd say, how much do you want to make a month? I want to make 10K. Say, okay, let's get out our calculators. That's one 10K client, two 5K client. What do you think? I go, I'll just do one for 10K. Okay.
Wow.
But women, on the other hand, we need like 100 clients to do that.
Yeah.
Right. I can't do that because then I won't, what if I'm not serving them? And then, and that's a lot. I'm like, no one's going to pay for that right now because and like, I have my own stuff about money and then I'm going to have to face that. If I ask them for money, then I'm face to face with my own scarcity. And that sounds terrible. So I'll just, you know what I should do? Another certification. I should pay more of my money.
Oh my God, yes.
And then maybe that certification then I'll feel it is astounding how many certifications. How many do you have? I mean, I have 10. I don't know.
I just have the one.
Of like others of all certifications and trainings and schools and teachers you've
worked with. Of everything or just health?
Of all the things.
Oh God. All the things. I have so many things. I have so many things. Yeah, I'm a big old nerd and I love school, so I have lots of things.
And how much money have you spent?
Oi.
On your own education. Okay. So you've got all this training. You've invested, not to mention your lived experience and your wisdom and your heart and your passion. And you're like, but I don't know if I should charge money for coaching because COVID. Like, I get it.
Oh God, yes, that's exactly how I did it. I was like, I don't know.
I get it. I'm feeling it a lot right now. Like, how can I market when there's a genocide going on?
Yep. That's real.
How can I market something when there's an actual genocide happening in real time? Now, we have to, and a lot of tears have been happening.
Yep.
for anyone who's paying attention, right? But it's like,
Yeah.
I'm really grappling with that one, because on the one hand, I'm like, yeah, this is the thing that really matters, and I need to feel my grief, and I need to do my activism, and I want to focus on it, and I want to be a part. But if I don't share what I'm up to, am I really helping? Isn't that like isn't that like the oppressor kind of winning?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. We've internalized the oppressor, and we exude that, and we express that in so many ways.
When we dim our own light, we just make them more powerful. And
Mhm.
we have done that and done that and done that. We've said,
Mhm.
I can't feel joy because other people are suffering, but then we're suffering now when our joy could actually be adding to the healing.
Yeah.
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 That's
Yeah.
Joy is such a beautiful act of resistance.
Mhm.
Some of the best resistance I have seen on the socials are women dancing in the street
Yeah.
for the oppressed or
Yeah.
for themselves, or
Yeah.
say, I am being
We're still happy.
I
We're
am being
still alive.
restricted, but you can't stop me from dancing.
Yep. And you know what? I just want to read this one quote from the book. And I actually, like, I underlined it and I tabbed it. And then I also wrote, like, yes, with lots of
You know
exclamation
it's good.
points
I
next
do
to
that
it.
too in the
Yeah.
margins. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And you write, it is simply our time to become the founding mothers of a new world where it is not only safe to be visible as women leaders, but it is celebrated, honored, normalized. It is time for us to do this.
Yeah.
It is time for us to do this.
Yeah.
And thankfully, Meg and Joe, the work that you are doing and what you put in this book, I mean, this book, I mean, even like we said at the beginning, even for women who are not looking to be coaches,
Yeah.
this is a pep talk and a swift kick in the ass in a loving way, in a, like, with heart. And you're basically saying you can do this. Who are you not to do this? Right? And I mean, for any of us in anything that we're looking to do, who are you not to do this thing? Who are you not to bring your talents and your light into the world? And who are you not to do something for other people? Right? You're actually denying people by not doing what is in your power to do.
Yeah. And that language very much comes from, I was working with Marianne Williamson when I wrote that book, and she endorsed the book and loved the book, which is like wild. But her famous quote was so resonant for so much, because everyone got that, men, women, which is like, who are you not to be brilliant, gorgeous? It was like, oh, right, Mayor, good point.
Mhm.
And I think that there's a way that we can be grandiose about leadership or impact. I'll say I can, right? Like, if I'm going to be a leader, that means I have to build an empire and a 6-figure business, and I have to have this many followers, and I've got to like save the planet. Well, no, maybe it's just like a book club.
Yep.
Maybe it's a conversation at the dinner table.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's one post today. That's really, I think, what every generation has done. And right now it's simply our time. Every generation has these crazy ruptures that test. I don't know. It's like they remind us that change happens in community, healing happens in community, and voices and movement together can literally shift history. That's where power is. But it's very tempting. I've felt and heard so many, all men and women say, like, it's just too much. Like, it's just too much. There's nothing I can do anyway.
I'm just one person.
I'm just one person. Like, there's nothing I can do. Oh, it fires me up. I'm like, there's nothing you can do. Go Google, what can I do? What can I do to send aid? What can I do for homelessness in my community? What can I, like, there is plenty you can do. I don't know what to do. If you know how to order sneakers on Amazon, you can find something to do to contribute.
Agreed.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
I think what happens, and bringing politics into it, I think what happens is we look at you brought up Marianne Williamson, so this has been on my mind, and maybe this is beyond the scope of what we should talk about, so you can just tell me no when we get to that point. But looking at, we've got the potential of Trump running again against Biden again. Marianne Williamson has her name in the hat, and people are saying, well, we can't vote for her because if we do, we're throwing away our vote and Trump is going to win. And so then people are like, well, what can we do? And I'm of that. I have been thinking about this nonstop for, just watching Trump winning. God, here we are again. What can we do as people? And part of what I've learned from you is one of the things I can do is shake my body.
Yes.
That's one of the things I've learned.
Shake your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it sits in me when I think about what could happen here.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's, you're like, how do you get these women to want to sing on stage? A big part of it is very somatic and getting in the body and really moving it through. But, I knew Marianne was going to run again, and I saw her speak when she came to me, and I loved what she said. Everything she says is amazing. And she's running in a system that it just can't even compute what she's saying because it's so humane and actually logic. It just doesn't work in the political machine of nonsense. It's just like, what? But she said, I hope just follow your heart, and I hope you'll vote in a way that is true for you. And I was like, that's beautiful. And then also when you get to that level of leadership, like, the tiers of insanity are so everywhere, but like that level of
madness,
like next level madness. Okay. So what I'm learning from like activists, teachers, and I'm doing a lot of like studying and training around like activism and disruption theory is the best. You want to be very strategic and goal oriented and practical. So like, it's not just like shake your body and have joy. Yes. But if you like get your town to install a stop sign somewhere, right? Like, could you change something on the school ballot that you care about? Like find a tangible, and you can go big too, right? But activist and disruption strategy is very targeted and very, very specific. So like, yeah, if Biden and Trump, whichever one is elected, there'll be some differences, but not like they're still going to run the country, but through a patriarchal, capitalistic, racist, all the bullshit framework.
Yes, both sides are building the wall.
Yeah. So it's like, I'd prefer that Trump was in jail. It's not looking that way, but either way, what's my piece going to be in disrupting all of the madness?
Yeah.
Because we're moving and, on my worst days, I think it's all hopeless. But on most days, I'm like, we are really making some progress here in terms of lifting the veil of how insane this really is.
That's true.
Yeah. I think people are starting to wake up and they realize that so many of our rights and freedoms that we've taken for granted for so long are at stake. And we can't just walk around with blinders on or with, just like the veil. Like we have to pierce the veil. We have to look beyond the curtain and see what's really going on. And I think more people are starting to do that. More people are starting to wake up and see that things are not what we've necessarily been told for decades and generations and millennia.
Yeah, and let's be honest, looking through the veil is painful. A lot of work. It's incredibly painful, and there are endless distractions. And if you're a privileged person, you'll know you're privileged because you don't have to look at it. If you have the option of not thinking about XYZ issue, you know you're privileged in that area.
Yeah.
But I love what you're saying there. And this woman I'm studying with right now, her name's Nikki Black. Highly recommend following her, Nikki. We had a conversation and I was like lamenting, like, how do you relate with other people who don't seem to care? Like I go to parties or rehearsals and people are like, how are you? And I'm like, fucking in despair. How are you? And they're like, I'm good. No complaints here. In any case, we had a beautiful conversation and she said, MJ, not everybody does care. And not everybody's going to care.
That hurts.
Yeah.
But she's not wrong.
Sad but true. Yeah.
And then she said, and do we really need everybody to care?
No, we actually don't.
No, we actually don't.
We actually don't.
We just need enough people to care, to tip the scales. And history has shown us that over and over and over and over. But it was a little depressing. But it was like, you know what? You're right. It's absurd for me to expect the world to care about the things I care about. Because if all of us cared, the planet would be unrecognizable. Like it'd be great, but that's not reality. So, let's be in community with the people that do care. Let's have conversations with the people who are open to it. And let's be really discerning about the folks that just do not want to care and never will, because pouring your energy on them is a real waste of time and energy.
Yes. Protect your energy, protect your peace. No, like pick your battles.
Yeah.
Right? Like know who to have the conversations with, right? Like not everybody's going to agree with you, sure, of course. But some people you can have the conversations with and know they won't agree with you, but they'll think about it.
Yeah.
And it'll crack them open just a little bit so that next time somebody else talking to them, it can get in.
Exactly.
Right? And it just widens the crack that much more.
Exactly. And I'll be really transparent. You can either sense it, or sometimes I'll just say, like, are you willing to look at this in a different way? Or are you willing to think about this in a different way? Because I am, and I mean it. I'm willing to listen to your point of view. And I've had some beautiful conversations with racist, misogynist, people. I'm like, but can we just be curious with each other right now? That's what I love about co-active coaching, that model. I was telling you, it's like, can you be curious and really listen to someone and maybe they'll shift your mind, but protect your energy is huge. It's huge.
Well, and it kind of makes me think about what you say about sacred sisterhood.
Yeah.
About you don't say it exactly like this, but for holding space for people, and you're not trying to fix people, but you're here to listen, and you're here to acknowledge and to witness. You're here to witness.
Yeah.
Right? That gets lost a lot of times in just the everyday world. Just witnessing someone and not trying to fix them.
Hugely lost. And one of my biggest complaints around coaching and self-help industry in general, there's a lot of attachment to feel better, do more, do better, do more, improve yourself. Fix yourself. So let's say, like, Raquel, you come to me, we just do like a real life mock example for people listening. And you're like, I'm like, Raquel, what's going on, Queen? Like, how are you doing? And you're like, I'm in such despair. Right? Like, I don't know, like, I feel like shit. Whatever your words would be.
Yeah.
And I say, oh my God, it's going to be fine. We're going to be good. You're going to be good. You're going to be okay. You're amazing. You know what? Like, just think about all the people that are like making a difference right now. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, let's say you come to me and give me your word. Like, what would your words be if you were pissed off or something that's pissing you off right now?
I'm fucking pissed. Like I'm pissed off. I'm sick of this shit. What the fuck is happening right now?
It's so good. It's so well bragged. So well bragged that you're pissed off. What else? Tell me more about how you're so pissed off.
That the world is going to hell in a handbasket and nobody seems to give a shit. Like people are just hopping on, like, oh, let's help turn this world into a flaming dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Let's just jump on that bandwagon.
Thank you. Oh my God, your anger is so hot. Tell me more. Right? Like, can you feel the difference even though we're like mock playing it? If I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. Tell me
Yeah.
more. What else do you have on how the world is a dumpster fire? It actually, will you tell me what it felt like?
Like you're taking me seriously.
Right?
Like you're not shutting me down. Like it's an
Right?
opportunity to actually fully express what I'm feeling. Like just because sometimes you just want to be heard,
Yeah.
right? It's going to be okay, right? Like sometimes you do want that, but sometimes you just want to rant and express your rage, and you want somebody to witness the fact that there's a lot of fucking rage.
Yes. Yeah. And that's a lot that, again, the feminine doesn't really have rage is bad, grief is bad. It's like, no, it's all perfect. It's all perfect. Of
Well,
course.
patriarchy tells us that the feminine isn't supposed to have rage, but the feminine has rage. The feminine has all of it.
Yeah.
The
All of it.
feminine is
And
a
all of it is
range of
good.
emotion. Yeah.
All of it is right. All of it is perfect.
Yeah.
So it's very confusing. I mean, a lot of the tools and exercises are very confusing. They're very disorienting because you're unlearning something you might have lived for 40, 50, 60 years. Which is why, as we kind of started this conversation, it is a practice. It's an ongoing practice, and you will slip out of it. Patriarchy and ego, they're relentless. It's like Marianne teaches Course in Miracles. I don't know if you guys have, it's not like really my book, but I read it when I was studying with her. But the one, there's many phrases I love from it, but the one that really I still carry is the ego speaks first and loudest. And so does the patriarchy. So does all of this conditioning, our internalized racism, our internalized misogyny, our internalized unworthiness will speak first and loudest every time.
I agree.
Yeah.
But it's good to know that, right? It's like, okay, so it's not just me. It's like, oh, there it is. So what can I do to get behind that voice? Because there's another voice there too that knows love and courage and compassion and possibility and joy. But the point is it's a discipline.
Yeah.
What did you, I want to call you MJ.
Call me MJ.
I know, I love it. What did you want to tell our audience that we didn't give you the opportunity to talk about?
Oh, that's good. So much. We need like 10 more days.
You get one thing.
You know what's coming through just as we're talking about this? Like I saw like a meme on Instagram the other day that was like, it's okay if you're curled up in fetal position sobbing right now. This is really fucking sad. And I would say it's not only okay, it's actually a sane response.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be in fetal all day, which is why, again, the tools and practices I teach give you the spaces to be in that in a very sacred, very deep, very on purpose way so that your heart can break. If your heart's not breaking, like there actually is something wrong.
Yeah.
Like let it break. It's okay. And then it gets bigger, and then it's like, oh fuck, that hurts so much. Oh, but it's so good. And what do I want to create from that?
Yeah.
Something like that is what's coming through. Just sort of that macro thought for all of us.
I love it so much.
And we grow strong in the broken places.
Right?
Yeah. That's where the light gets in.
It really is. And
Yeah.
it sucks. Like it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But to the extent that you can kind of own your darkness, then it's like you can own your light so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, for some people, for most of us, women in particular, being in our light is even more uncomfortable.
Agreed.
Yep.
No, like, I'm amazed. It's like that Marianne quote, like, and she would say that all the time on our calls. Like, she's like, I get it. Like, own your shadow, do your shadow work. Can we also do our light work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got like organizing to do. Love is a force.
Megan Jo, we could talk to you easily for hours and hours. And I feel like we literally only touched the tip of the iceberg of not just everything that you're doing, MJ, I swear to God, but like what's in this book and the women that you have coached and the women that those women have touched.
Mm-hmm.
We talk a lot about the ripple effect.
Yeah.
And your work is having lots and lots of ripples.
Taking that in. It's so good to hear. Thank you for that reminder.
You're so welcome.
And likewise to you. Yeah, for anyone who's listening, it's just a little micro example, what we're doing here. And what other conversations could you have or circle up with, and just record them and put them out there. That's what these queens are doing. Why not? Who knows who this conversation will touch? We don't know.
MJ, you are a force. Thank you so much for everything that you do.
It's just my treat.
MJ, thank you so much.
You too.
For talking with us.
Me too. So grateful for you both.
Oy, Raquel. I feel like so much in such a short period of time that I'm actually having trouble bringing it all in.
It's just so, like, literally, I felt like this book and talking to MJ, having been in community with other women who have been touched by her, there's an affirming that I feel in all of that. It goes so much deeper than just be a coach, do the work, help your community. I mean, it goes so much deeper than that, because as you're doing those things, you're helping yourself, right? Like you're healing yourself. Mm-hmm. And as you heal yourself, as you get over that visibility threshold, and as you unlearn and come through and away from that trance of unworthiness, and there's just so much power in that. God, literally right now, I feel it like right here, like in the core of my being, that there's this, like I can feel my own power.
Because when women come together, we're like a freaking channel. Mm-hmm. Channel's the wrong word. We're like an amplifier. When we come together, we amplify one another. That was what we were meant to do. We were meant to be amplifiers. And the patriarchy and capitalism and all that other bullshit, what it did was it brought comparison and fight your sisters, and there's only so much to go around, and if I have some, you don't get any, and all of that stuff kept us separate and competing. And women together are amplifiers. We are powerful bitches.
Amen. Yeah. Amen. We are goddesses, and we are, and I love the way that she talks about the use of the word diva. It comes from the root word for goddess. It comes from the root word for divine. Be a diva. Get in touch with your inner diva, with your inner goddess, and let that shit out. Right?
Yes.
Express it. Get in touch with it.
I probably never will stand on stage, but we'll see. Maybe I will. But that's what standing on stage is about, right? That's what leading a group is about. That's what having a podcast and saying your truth is about. That's what coaching other women is about. All of that is about feeling that power within, honoring yourself, being in touch with, your divine truth. You know it. I know my divine truth. I know it. And when someone tries to keep me small, that's what I love this title. No more playing small, because we're not small. And what have we been taught to do? We've been taught to shrink, 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 shrink.
Yeah.
No more playing small.
No more.
And any of you, I challenge our audience. I challenge all of our great listeners, all of our people who have hung with us through all this. If you feel that calling, stand up on that stage. I will come and be your biggest fan.
Absolutely. We will be your cheerleaders. We will be there. We will cheer you on. We will witness it. Whatever your version of being on stage is, do it.
Yeah, but I want them to go to Rockstar Camp.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, absolutely. Ooh, and if we could be the people who get to watch it and cheer people, that would be so cool. I would love that. That is you shining your light, and I get to support it and witness it and cheer for it, and it's amazing. I mean, who are we not to support each other?
Yes.
Right?
God,
and MJ. Jesus. Yeah, everybody. Man, get in touch with MJ however you can. Go to Rockstar Camp. Go to her website. Read her books. Follow her on Instagram. Go to her Facebook page. Damn, follow this woman. There's a wealth of power, and she helps you get in touch with your own power. It's not like she's saying you have to be like a mini MJ. No.
Audience, I'm speaking directly to you. Raquel and I read a lot of books. We read a lot of books. We've read a lot of books. One of these days, we're going to put a list together of all the books we've read. I loved this one so much.
So good. So good.
This was sent to us for free. You can download it on her website. There's so much freaking inspiration. Look what I did to this book. There are things we didn't even get a chance to discuss. There's so many things I wanted to discuss.
Same. I have written in here. I've underlined stuff.
The thing that really stuck out to me is for my friends who are in the coaching business, who are starting their own workshops, who are struggling with, how do I get my message out there? Get in touch with MJ, because if I was doing my own business, I'd be following every step in here. I'd probably be calling MJ for some actual coaching support, because we need that. And
absolutely,
she knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing.
There's so much benefit all of us can get from the work that MJ is doing and has put out into the world and continues to do. Take advantage of it. It's out there. The information that we need, the pep talk that we need, the gentle but firm hand on the back. It's out there. If you feel like you don't have anybody specific in your corner who is doing these things for you, read this book. MJ has put this book out there. That sisterhood, that hand on the back, that encouragement is out there for anybody who is willing to reach out and grab it.
Grab it.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer.
I wanted to say something so politically incorrect about, but don't grab him by the pussy.
I love you, Jennifer, so much.
Bye, Raquel.
That's awesome. Bye, Jennifer. Thanks, everyone, for listening today. We will be back with more Madness Cafe next week. You can find us on Instagram at Madness Cafe Podcast or email us at madnesscafepodcast@gmail.com. Bye.